special guest. She is an amazing woman who is a leader. She's a businesswoman. She's an innovator. She has created so much support in the community of Victoria, British Columbia, where we both live. And she's also a mother of two. And she is somebody I met a few years ago, and I was immediately drawn to her because of her warmth and her just sense of community and just wanting to be of service or to be of help. And so welcome, Jane. Thank you for being on my show. So tell me a bit about yourself, about you and your business and what you like to do with your time, that kind of thing.
So I'm a realtor in Victoria. I came to real estate from teaching. I moved here in 1999, so I've been here almost 2 decades now. And I got into real estate because I didn't have a great realtor. And I decided, okay, I wanted to see if I could do this job better. And I thought, of course, when anybody's going into a new profession, it looks easy from the outside, right?
Yeah.
And immediately, so I'd gone in from government, and I have a master's degree in leadership from the University of Victoria. So I knew all these people, but I wasn't established in the community. So having come from Toronto, where my mom was a politician and really quite central to the community that we lived in, I was used to knowing everybody and knowing everything about everybody, like a small town.
Yeah.
So when I came into real estate, actually I discovered eWomen Network, and that was the first networking group that I joined. It was a no-brainer for me because of the facilitated introductions.
Yeah.
And I got into, I realized that people wanted to do business with me because they knew, like, and trusted me. And I realized that the work that I was doing in the community, volunteering, was helping foster those relationships. So I've just really kept up with that, and it's really developed my network.
Yeah, and I think you really do set a really good example for the community. And I love what you say on your website about how, I mean, the reason you're the host of a really amazing vlog yourself called Vancouver Island Time, which I was lucky enough to be a guest. But I love that what inspired you to do that was just the sense of community and, being able to know people and know who you're working with and just, foster that sense of community,
Right.
which I really like as well.
Yeah, and the whole purpose of that show was to really just introduce people in the community to people at large, so we could highlight them and see how they're impacting their community as well, and then highlight the area that they're living in, so people who are purchasing or selling get a testimonial from someone like you, who knows their area really well and loves it. And can tell them what it's like to live in Victoria.
Yeah. And people love firsthand experience and seeing what it's like for real in real time almost.
Yeah, and that was a like a 5-year project that sort of came to fruition all of a sudden. So it was kind of on the back burner there.
Yeah, just like my show. After 10 years, I'm finally doing it. So you talked a little bit about what inspired you to do what you do as a career. I know that you do a lot of other things in the community. So we talked about eWomen Network. You were the former executive managing director, and that's how I met you originally and liked you immediately. And then you're also an avid rower and speed skater. Tell me a bit about that and how you kind of contribute to your community as a mentor and a teacher.
So I used to be a phys ed teacher in Toronto, and I got signed up for speed skating by my husband, who thought that it would be a lot of fun for us to do a family activity. So anytime we've done sports with our kids, it's been all of us together. So because I took to the skating quite quickly, they asked me to come out and coach the beginners. So I coach like up to 7-year-old kids, and I call them my little ducklings when they follow me around the ice. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. So with the rowing as well, I wrote a long time ago in university, and so again, I took it up quickly and got into coaching that as well. So, and I do all the social media for both of those groups. And that's a one way of sort of keeping front of mind and being a connector in the community.
And that's a lot of work, but it's worthwhile because you're connecting to your community, but you're also being of service as well. And you know, you love your work as a realtor, and you love helping people find homes. So I think you're inspiring to me, anyways, and I'm sure a lot of other people who are going to be watching. You know, of how to not only thrive in your business, but be of service at the same time.
Yeah,
Which I think is really key.
I think the key actually is just to be authentic.
Yes, yeah.
And just do, like, seriously do what you love doing, and then people will be attracted to you because you're not being fake.
Yeah.
You know, like, I remember when I was taking my course, somebody was talking about, what watch shall I wear? And I'm like, who cares? I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah. Well, that's a big part of why I'm doing this show, because it's like been 10 years in the making, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't hide behind my camera anymore, and I want people to get to know me as authentically as possible, but also I want to highlight, part of my work is highlighting people making a difference. So that's why we're here today, which is really cool. So what do you think your biggest challenges or obstacles are, or have been in the past, on your current like career path, or anything that you do in or outside of your business?
Probably the biggest thing is just there's a lot of rapid change happening. Like, there are new apps coming out, and sort of beginning to filter out the wheat from the chaff. Is that the right saying? So we're knowing what's actually important to keep doing and what I can stop doing.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming. I definitely feel that in my career as well as a photographer.
Yeah, I think sometimes you think, okay, I better start doing this, and then you realize that was a waste of time. So for me, I've been trying to develop a team, and I realize I'm really more of a mentor than I am a team leader. I prefer to facilitate people's development rather than lead them, because I like them to be independent.
Yeah, and I think that in some ways can be more helpful to people, because I think innately we know what to do, but we just need somebody to guide us in the right direction. So that's great. So what's your favorite part of your day?
Right now, I hate getting up early, but I love rowing. So just relaxing on the water and just focusing on one thing without any extraneous influence. It's really, it's my favorite thing. So, but the other thing I love doing, honestly, I love negotiating. So submitting the transaction, like putting out the offer, and then seeing what I need to do to get it through. And one of a realtor who I did a transaction with yesterday actually said, well, I know your transactions all go through, so I'm not worried. Yeah, and really, and that comes from understanding what the buyer or seller needs, and meeting those needs, and then seeing how the house fits in with what they're purchasing.
Yeah, I quite like it as well, and it sounds like for you it's a fun process. So how would you, what advice would you give to other business owners to make that business transaction or the sales process? How would you advise them on how to make it more, I don't know, easier for them, or I don't know.
So I'm a certified bank code trainer, right?
Yes.
So that's sales training. So what the best piece of advice I can give anybody is just listen and understand like what their need is versus what their want is. So sometimes people tell you what they think they want, but then when you go around and you're looking at houses, or when they're giving you feedback, is really take that in, and then you can say, okay, well, I see this is important, and this is important, and this is important. And then when you find the house, yeah, that's what I find in my business too. People often don't know what they want, so it's really kind of guiding them to
get to know what that is at the heart of it. Like, so it is more of a need, and then work around to create the need and the want together.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well, your use of the Pinterest was a really good tool, because then people pick out the pictures, because then they don't have to articulate it with words, they articulate it with pictures.
Yeah. And do you do the same thing with
Real estate?
With real estate?
Yeah,
Or-
we do, because we
Yeah.
give them access to the portal, and then
Yeah.
we get them to choose what they like, and then I'm looking for what the consistency is between each home.
Right. All right. So when you work with your clients, like, what do you offer them, and what do you get personally from working with, what do they get from working with you?
So what I do is it doesn't matter if they're buying or selling, a trailer or a $1 million home. The purpose is to give them exemplary service, and how we focus on that is to educate them. So when somebody's getting their house ready for sale, we'll give them access to a stager who will give them advice. And I don't pretend to know what I'm doing regarding staging.
Yeah. That's a whole other realm.
She's the bad cop and I'm the good cop. So I'll say to them, it's okay to leave a dirty dish out once in a while. Like, if you have a showing, don't stress about it. That's not going to stop somebody from buying, but don't leave your underwear everywhere, sort of thing.
Exactly.
But what they get out of it is, I think they understand the process. We try and keep them informed right from the beginning to the end. And what that does is it allows them to feel like they're in control, and they see all the feedback, so they know if they want to change their home, what they can do.
Exactly. So, back to your community involvement and your support of the community and how you're giving back in the world. When you're doing all these things, is there something that comes to mind that when you think about it, like, why is it important for you to be of service? Is it internal thing, or is it to do with business, or is it something bigger than that?
Well, it's certainly not to do with business.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't think so.
When we were running Women Network, we had a donation every year towards a local entrepreneur or a group. And that was very important to me, that we have some sort of focus on giving back to the community. And it was honestly just the way I was brought up, that we were to be of service to people and think about the community good. So some of the organizations, like the Victoria Hospital Foundation, I can thank Mary Lou Newbold, who brought me in. And she brought me in because she wanted somebody with connections to the community. And what I'm doing is bringing in donations, and we just raised $1 million, which is fabulous.
I know, I heard that's amazing, and I was happy to be a part of that as well.
Yes, thank you.
You've inspired me to be of service more than I am.
Well, and I think also, like, at the end of the day, it's not how much money you made, it's really what impact you've had. And if at the end of my life, when I look back, that's how I want, I want my impact to be positive, and I want my kids to be happy and healthy. I don't care if they're a doctor, a lawyer, or a rocket scientist. I want them to be happy people. And in general, it doesn't take much to just make a little bit of an impact.
Exactly, and that's one of my big sayings for my show today is, it's no matter how small. So as long as we can make an impact that's positive, it doesn't have to be, David Suzuki level, impact. It can be just a small thing that somebody can do. Maybe it's once, maybe it's on a regular basis. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, you can say, I did this, or I made a difference in so-and-so's life, or, I raised happy and healthy children, because that's what we all want, I think, at the end of the day. So I guess another question would be, is there a story behind, or is it just like you said, you were just brought up that way, or was there a story that inspired you to do the things that you do? Well,
my mom was a community leader. She was a politician in Toronto. And then when I moved here, I lived at Pearson College for 15 years, and I was a house parent, and I saw the students there and how they really were working to make a positive change. And I think, you know, that and the work with E-Women Network and the foundation and everything, just realized maybe it's made me a softer person, I would say, more nurturing. I'm less black and white than I used to be. That could be age.
Yeah. Well, we want to give as women too.
Yeah.
The more you give, the more kind of maybe softer on the edges we get. We get a little bit more empathetic and compassionate, maybe.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny. I was a very competitive teenager, and I was told I had to be more cooperative. And then when I was a teacher, I realized that my students, I worked a lot with high school girls, and my students just wanted to really belong. And so everything I worked towards in the class was helping people feel comfortable and belonging to their community. And I realized, like, some of those kids in those classes, they don't know the names of the other girls or boys. And it, you know, so when I taught out here, I taught summer camps, and then I was a house parent, it was really about building the community and the ties.
So that's a very strong theme with you, I hear, and that you are you really enjoy working with young people and helping them nurture their sense of self and growth in whatever direction they want to go. Is there was that just something that happened over time, or is there a particular incident that kind of, or not incident, but thing that happened that kind of, or is it just a natural progression maybe?
I think it's been innate. Like, even when I was in high school, I was a social director of our student council. So in grade 10,
Yeah.
which my brother was so embarrassed about, but grade 11 actually. And, you know, I don't know, it's funny when you look back and you realize what's remained strong and consistent in your life. I think there are two things. One is always bringing people together, and the other is also organizing people. Like when I had babies, I was really afraid of being alone because I was on the edge of my chosen. So what I arranged a walking group every week. We met on Tuesdays. We got out our strollers and we walked around Wanda-Fuca Park a couple of times, and then I ran walk groups for the Times Colonist for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
So
Look at all these things that you're doing that are coming up due to this conversation.
yeah, I forgot about that.
Well, yeah, and that's what attracted me to you in the first place. I mean, I didn't really know you very well, but I could just sense that, you know, you were very supportive and, you know, friendly right off the bat, like the first time we met in Vancouver. And the more I got to know you and seeing, you know, your strong value of community and bringing people together, and, you know, you are a leader, but you're also, like you said, a mentor, and I think that's in a lot of ways more valuable to people. So, and I see, you know, working with youth and adults, like, because you do a lot of work with E-Women still, and just supporting your own team at Briar Hill Max Camosun, you know, with your whole team.
Yeah.
So it's just part of you, who you are, which is amazing, and I think very inspiring, I think, for a lot of people. So what advice would you give to people that perhaps want to make a difference? Because what I want to inspire with this show in particular is that, you know, we can all go to work, come home, eat, and go to bed.
Boring.
But what else can we do? And no matter how small, is there something that you believe in, or something that you feel strongly about, or is there somebody you want to help? You know, what advice would you give, because this is something that comes innately to you, maybe it doesn't come innately to other people. Is there something that you would say to inspire them, or give advice on, okay, how to get started? Or I know people say just do it, but is there
Find your
something-
passion, right? Like, there's a woman who she started giving back. She loves cats, so she just started donating to different cat-friendly organizations. and she's made a big difference. And I don't think it has to be human or animal or whatever, but you know, you don't get joy at the end of the day by having a lot of money.
That's true.
You get joy by helping people. So I think just finding out what's important to you and contributing that way. You know, what surprised me in our rowing and our speed skating group is how involved we are in each person's lives. And for the guy who has cancer, or the guy who has an immune disorder, or somebody whose husband passes away, or their mom dies, you know, that we're all there for one another. We went to our coach's wedding. So it's really about lifting people up and supporting them. You know, and it doesn't have to be money. The great thing when people say, well, you know, you make a ton of money in real estate. I don't make a ton of money in real estate, but you know what? I can contribute differently than how I would have been if I'd stayed a teacher.
Right, yeah. And that brings you more joy because I see you as so happy all the time. So I want what you have.
I'm on happy juice.
So do you have a favorite inspirational quote or thought that you want to share with my audience?
Oh, Linda.
No pressure.
I think Margaret Mead has a quote about never underestimate the power that one person can make a change in the world. Something like that.
Yeah, I get to. Yeah, I believe in that wholeheartedly as well.
I've got that T-shirt, and it's funny because my daughter decided to start wearing it.
Oh, the Margaret Mead quote. Oh,
yeah. And you know, every time I see a powerful T-shirt, I send my kids motivational quotes every day, or not every day, but you know, occasionally. And I also, every time I see a T-shirt with a good saying that's strong, I give it to my kids.
We did a photo shoot not too long ago now, and we were kind of in the works for quite a while, and I'm just going to talk about how it all came down because you had asked me if I wanted to contribute to the Victoria Hospitals Foundation. I was like, yes, I'd love to do that. And so I ended up contributing a personal branding photo shoot, and it went into the silent auction for the foundation, and you happened to win it, which was pretty amazing. And I was hoping you would too, because I really wanted to work with you just as much as you wanted to work with me. So I'm just curious, as you know, why were you interested in working with me in the first place?
Well, first of all, I'll tell you, it was a really great pleasure to work with you because I felt I really liked the process. And really the process is more important than the product. And the process was to examine what I wanted out of it, rather than me just showing up with a bunch of clothes and you saying pose like this or this or this. And you went through the interview, and I felt you're very detail oriented.
Yeah. And
you're high blueprint. Very high blueprint.
Oh, okay.
Blueprint nurturer.
I didn't know that. Yeah, okay.
But you're interested in getting it right. And I looked at your website, and I liked the images that you had for other people. And I felt that they really reflected who they were as people. And I've received similar compliments on my photos that they really do look like me as a person. Which is a high compliment, because I've looked at other ones where, you know, I'm like, one time somebody airbrushed me so I had no lines, and I thought, if somebody meets me in person, they're going to wonder, what the hell?
Yeah. You don't want people to not recognize you when they see you in person. Well, that's very, very kind of you, and for pointing that out, and sort of, solidifies the way I do things, so I can keep doing it that way.
And I should say, it's not just you, right? It's you and you at a team.
And my team, yes. We all work together to create, that's the whole point, and to, bring out the best in my clients like yourself.
Yeah.
So that you can keep doing what you're doing and attract the people that you need to attract in your life and your business. and keep contributing.
I will say though, it's kind of funny because when Linda was doing the photos, I wanted this one photo that you were kind of like, whatever. And I got the one with my feet up in the air.
Yes. Well, yeah, I threw it in. I was like, I know she's going to want this one, so.
I got so much feedback out of that
Yeah.
one photo because it just shows, my kind of irreverent, fun side.
Exactly, and your love of shoes, I was going to say. Yeah, no, I'm very glad. And that's what I try to impart to clients as well. It's not, because often people say, oh, it's the photographer's job to make me look good. No, it's our job as a team to collaborate, because I don't know everything about you, and my makeup artist doesn't know everything about you. And so it's the subject has to admit and do as much work as a photographer in some ways, right?
Yeah.
So it's a collaboration, and it's an energy exchange. So that's what I try to explain to people, who say, well, you're going to make me look good, aren't you? Well, no, you're going to make yourself look good because it comes from inside.
Well, I also noticed that you were sweating.
I was sweating. I was working hard.
Yeah. It's not easy.
It's not easy, yeah, and it's not easy for the subject either. Especially most of my clients aren't used to having their photos taken, so it is a bit intimidating. It can be, but I try to, do my best to make it as fun and comfortable as possible.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it is.
I would say,
Yeah.
like, if you're going to show the images, that if anything, I look really relaxed.
Yeah.
And maybe she just wore me out from. Keep going, Jane.
Yeah, we'll definitely be showing some of the images we did. And so I guess, we talked a little bit about what you liked about the experience and the collaboration. So how are the photos working for you? I know you said you had some good comments. How has it impacted your business or your life in general, maybe?
They're really great. So what I've done is created a story around each photo and just talked about the one in the yellow sweater where I'm holding the coffee cup is about listening to people. People have said that they look very authentic and natural. The one with the yellow sweater where I'm facing the camera is being used as a picture for a tour company where I'm hosting a travel excursion for Departures Travel next fall.
Exciting.
And then also being different. So the one with the shoes talks about how we have a different approach to real estate and it's fun. And then there's the one with the Tesla
Yeah.
and the red shoes.
Yes.
And that one is, that one talks about just being a high level of service and professionalism. So it's like they each have a different angle. And I was able to create a story behind them, which really helped me, I think, sort of solidify where I stand. So the brand is not just the picture, the brand is the sort of the layers behind the scenes, right?
The story and the personality, so people can get, and that's what a lot of people have a misconception about personal branding photography. It's really about creating a story and letting people into who you are as a person, who you are as a business person, the what, where, why, and how of you as a realtor and as a person in the community. So I think that's really important to understand that, it's not just a headshot, because a headshot to me just shows what you look like. Personal branding or branding photography, or this is like personality-driven portraiture, really shows more of who you are. And I think I like how you just described how you are using your photos strategically, and that's how we try to photograph you as well, strategically, so we know kind of, okay, well, these photos are going to be here, these photos are going to be there, and why are you taking these pictures? And I think we were really good at collaborating on that together, because you had a clear idea, I think more so after we, went through the process and everything, and,
Well, in the
yeah.
sales training, it's interesting because you want to, whenever you write your content, you want to appeal to different groups. So some of those pictures will appeal to nurturers, and I realize the nurturing side really came out in those photos.
Yeah.
But there's also the action kind of high level performance, people who want to work with somebody who's successful, and then the knowledge one where I have the pen and then the blueprint one also with the pen and the computer. So just sort of highlighting different aspects of my personality as well as servicing the needs of the client.
Now, have you noticed a difference? I know it's hard to tell because it's an indirect impact in your business, but do you feel like you've had a level of attraction now because of the photos, or do you feel what would you say the tangible results are from actually marketing, using these photos in your marketing?
I don't think I can measure it specifically because I haven't tried to, but we definitely use it in our media the way I expressed. I think that what it's done is kind of elevated the perception of people in the public eye. And how I know that's working is because I'll be somewhere and somebody will say, "Are you Jane Johnston?" And I'm like, "I don't know you."
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
saw your picture.
Yeah.
Or something like that, right? They, and I think also, honestly, my assistant loves them because I'm able to use more than just one headshot. Previously, I've just used one headshot all the time.
Yeah.
So I can adapt the headshot for different situations.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. And that's another thing that sets branding photography apart is that you have the versatility of using different photos for different things, and it's an insidious thing, right? Because it actually does raise the perception and elevates you as the expert. So it's kind of happening authentically for you 24/7. And that's one of the things I say is, this photography, or your portraits, your branding portraits should speak for you when you can't be there in person. It sounds like they are.
Yeah.
So Jane Johnston, thank you so much for being here. Jane, again, is a realtor with Briar Hill Group, Remax Camosun here in Victoria. She's an award-winning realtor. She's a mother of two. She has her vlog, which is amazing, called Vancouver Island Time. She's a rower, and she's a speed skater, and she's a mentor, and she's an uplifter in our community. So thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to having you on the show again, maybe in the future,
Sure.
or maybe doing some more photos, or seeing you at the next events.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's been a pleasure. I think this is a fabulous opportunity for change makers. And I appreciate it. It takes a lot of time and effort to do this sort of thing. So if you get the opportunity to work with Linda, I would highly recommend that you do so.
Thank you so much. So thanks again for joining us at the kitchen table where ideas for change emerge. All it takes is one small thing to make a difference. And people like Jane Johnston make it look easy, but really it isn't. It's just about, like she said, finding your passion, finding what really means something to you, and just doing it. So enjoy your day. Thanks for joining.